The ESG and climate change crowd has absolutely lost their minds. Remember, this is the same people who convinced multiple countries to give up their energy independence and to trust Russia. Well, that didn't work out so well. And so now these geniuses, these galaxy brains, are now turning all of their attention to the Bitcoin network. Now, ultimately, what they are doing is they announced this morning a brand new campaign. That campaign is called Change the Code, Not the Climate. It's a catchy headline, but what they are talking about not only is impossible, but it makes zero sense. Now, to understand this, there's a number of different ESG groups and climate change organizations that have come together. They've got about $5 million in funding from Chris Larsen as well. Chris Larsen is the co-founder of Ripple. He's had a long storied history in the technology industry. The campaign specifically has a couple of key points. First, the campaign wants to buy ads in leading publications over about a month's time period. They want to pressure the Bitcoin community to alter the way it orders transactions, to quite literally get the Bitcoin community to change the code. And the campaign believes, inaccurately, that about 50 key miners, crypto exchanges, and core developers have the power to change Bitcoin's code. This not only is impossible, but it shows that the ESG and climate change crowd, they don't even understand how Bitcoin works. There are no developers or crypto exchanges or even miners who can go ahead and change that code. This was previously tried when more than 50% of the hash rate got together during the block size wars, and the node operators threw their middle finger to them and kicked them out. Now, ultimately, these folks are going to try it. They're going to spend millions and millions of dollars. They might as well just flush it down the toilet because there's no way this is going to work. But we've got a quote here from one of the leaders of the Sierra Group, one of these ESG groups. And he says, "We are in this campaign for the long haul, but we are hoping, particularly since Bitcoin is now being financed by entities and individuals who care about climate change, that we can compel leadership to agree that this is a problem that needs to be addressed." He continued by saying Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, PayPal, Venmo, Fidelity, there are lots of companies we anticipate will be helpful to this effort. Well, unfortunately, the Sierra Group may not understand, but Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Fidelity, Venmo, PayPal, etc., they're not the leaders of Bitcoin. Nobody can change the code. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much you yell and scream, you cannot change the code unless you get the developers, the miners, and the node operators to all come to agreement. Now, we've got another quote from Chris Larsen where he said that if he was concerned about Bitcoin as a competitor, probably the best thing I could do is to continue on this path. This is just an unsustainable path. Well, unfortunately, when you listen to somebody who's not in second, third, or fourth place, but instead they're so far down CoinMarketCap that they can't find where Bitcoin is at the top, because the market has determined Bitcoin is the most valuable cryptocurrency. Because at the end of the day, cryptocurrencies, their value is derived from their security, and Bitcoin is the most secure computing network in the world. It's all rooted in proof of work. So nobody's worried about what the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, or 10th competitor thinks about number one. The number one cryptocurrency is worried about winning, and that's exactly what it's doing. Now, of course, there is the CoinShares folks. They had a great quote where they stated that they'd put the chance of Bitcoin ever moving to proof of stake at exactly 0%. There's no appetite among Bitcoiners to destroy the security of the protocol by making such a move. And Chris is dead on with that comment. And then, of course, I couldn't stop without mentioning my good friend Nick Carter, who had the perfect tweet to go ahead and sum this up. What he said was, as a Bitcoin node operator and a member of the Bitcoin high priesthood that controls the protocol, I have duly considered Ripple's and Greenpeace's request to eliminate proof of work from Bitcoin, and I hereby ... deny it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly how I feel as well. These folks can spend millions of dollars. They can surface all sorts of inaccurate data. They can run and scream all they want about all of the FUD that they've created. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin is the most secure computing network in the world. It's based on proof of work consensus mechanism. Bitcoin will not change that consensus mechanism. And the reason is not only because Bitcoiners understand security, not only because they understand the importance of decentralization, but they also realize the market has determined Bitcoin is the most valuable protocol in the world. Why would we ever change what's working? Hey you, did you like this video? Great, we make 5 of them a day and post them here on this channel. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and see you next time.